trying to get a mock draft right is hard enough. I mean, what do you get? 8 picks right? 7? I think the best ones would we just get like 9 or 10,
8,
right?
8.
Yeah,
Nobody gets like 12.
No. It's and that's
usually a lot of them are like 6.
Yeah.
And they're early.
Right. They're like the first, second, third pick, things like that. And even that sometimes gets screwed up. Accuracy is not the goal when Matt Miller of ESPN tries a 7-round mock draft. He's not going to, I don't know what he's going to bat on this, but I'm guessing he's going to bat about 115 on what picks he gets right. That's, what are you talking about, 260 different draft picks? How many are you actually going to get it right? But
damn,
God bless him for trying.
Yeah.
Matt Miller went for a 7-round mock. And
that's crazy.
The thing for me is it's not the accuracy. It really isn't. Although we'll talk about what he picked at the beginning of the draft because it's interesting for the Cardinals. It's positionally, where did he have the Cardinals taking a corner? Where did he have the Cardinals taking an offensive line? How did he prioritize that throughout a mock? That's what I'm more interested in. It's not so much the names, and it's not so much whether he got it right. It's like, what round did they address offensive line? You know what I mean? What round did they address things like that? His mock has the Vikings moving up to 3 to take Drake May.
Okay.
His mock has Denver moving up to 4 to take J.J. McCarthy.
Does he say what the Cardinals get?
Yes, he did, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
The deal is molded like the deal the Niners made in 2021 to move up to get Trey Lance. It would be number 12 this year, first rounder next year, first rounder in 2026.
I'll take it.
Multiple first rounders in 4 straight drafts. If you
don't know that you could pass that up, having 2 first rounders. Now you pass up on a generational player. You better get those picks right. If you're Monty Ossenford, if you pass up on, having Marvin Harrison Jr. and he doesn't, and he ends up being a great player. We always go back to the draft where they passed on Terrell Suggs and they took Brian Johnson and Calvin Pace. That didn't work out so good for the Arizona Cardinals. They gave up on what was put. Now, at the time, I remember speaking to the Cardinals about this at the time. There was a fear that Suggs would not excel here because of being around his boys, being around his guys.
Okay.
They didn't if they were a different team, if they were somewhere else, they would have taken him. But there was a fear that there were, some negative people in his life.
It was too close to home.
So maybe go in a different direction, and they did that.
And that was a long time ago. That was many regimes ago. But there is something to be said about a player having success with one team that he might not have had with another because of all of those factors, environment, coaching, things like that. I don't think Tom Brady is Tom Brady if he doesn't go to the Patriots. I don't think he has that career with every team. In fact, I know Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady unless he goes to the Patriots. So he has the Cardinals moving down to 12. And at 12, he has the Cardinals taking a wide receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU.
Generally the 4th best receiver in everybody's mock draft.
For the most part. The
4th best guy.
Worthy from Texas. Sometimes it's Worthy 4th and then Thomas 5th, or they flip-flop. Got a draft profile here for Brian Thomas. It's one of our originals. So it's either Jarrett Carlin, Sarah Cazell, Jesse, or Mitch.
Am I guessing first?
You want me to guess first?
You guess first.
Okay, I'll guess first.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's Jesse.
I'll go Mitch.
Okay, here we go.
I'm 0 for so far.
Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU.
You need someone who's a reliable pass catcher that can score a touchdown at a moment's notice? Turn to the guy that led the FBS in that category this past season. Despite his height of 6'4", Thomas can burn down the field. He ran a 4.33 40-yard dash at the combine and can get 10 yards downfield in a second and a half. He'll need to improve on his route running at the NFL level, but he's a guaranteed deep threat if given an opportunity to run. NFL comp Packers wide receiver Christian Watson.
This 2024 NFL Draft Player Profile is brought to you by Bud Light.
Is he a number 1? Can he be a number 1? And if he's good enough to do so, the Cardinals have hit a home run because they'll go 4 straight years with 2 first-round draft picks. If you feel like Brian Thomas Jr. could be
compare him to
1.
Christian Watson, he's okay.
He's good.
He's okay.
He's good. Yeah. I don't know if he's a number 1 in this league, but he's good.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Listen, I think you hit on it that the needs. You got to get yourself a wide receiver. You've got to get yourself a cornerback. The two biggest needs going into this draft are wide receiver and cornerback. Those are two of the big deepest positions in the entire draft. Right now the Cardinals have 11 picks. They've got 6 in the top 90. So any trade is just going to add to that, which you got to look at. And I think if you get a 3 first-round pick offer, I think you get off of 4. I think if you don't get a 3 first-round pick offer, depending on what you get, you probably stay. You got several teams that want to move up possibly to go get themselves a quarterback, whether it's J.J. McCarthy or somebody else. So, like Peyton said, right, it's good to be Monty, but I do, listen, you do have to come out of this draft with help at wide receiver and cornerback. You have to.
I think it's realistic. What's hard to predict, though, is like what's on the receiving end. I think it's good to be Monty today at Arizona, right? So it's hard to predict what that cost is, and yet I certainly wouldn't say it's unrealistic, and we'll pay close attention to it.
Is this town big enough for 2 Monties? Montgomery.
Oh, I'm like, who's the second?
2 Monties now.
Who's the second? Yeah, I guess.
Monty with the D-backs, Monty with the Cardinals.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I guess Williams bailed before Austin Fort got a chance to meet him.
They overlapped by about 4 months. Monty
wasn't that long.
Monty
It was
Williams
after
was
the
fired
postseason,
in
yeah.
May.
Almost, that's right. Because you can't have 2 Monties in the same town.
And Austin Fort was hired in January, so they overlap by about 4 or 5 months. And yeah, Monty Williams must have felt the squeeze. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Let's just make sure the trend is broken this time around, right?
I think there's a clause in the contract that says when one Monty ends it with an I versus a Y, there is room for 2.
And I guess technically his full last name is Montgomery.
It is. But I mean, if we called him Monty, I'm assuming his nickname is Monty. Because most baseball nicknames are kind of uncreative, so he's probably just Monty. I mean, if we're being honest,
You think
right?
just
Like
baseball nicknames are uncreative.
Hey, what's your nickname, Jonesy? What's
Bud.
your nickname, Burnsy?
Bud.
What's your nickname? BT, DT, JT, JD, JB. I mean, right? Like it's like what?
You had the big unit.
Some baseball names are awesome. Don't get me wrong, but most baseball names are just like take your last name and add a Y at the end of it, and that's
Rock,
it, right?
For Tim Raines, Rock.
Yeah, no,
Rock.
there have been some really, really good ones. There have been, and Big Unit might be one of the best of all time.
Yeah, they're not as good as D-Book. I'm sorry, Burns.
Okay, so let me do this real quick.
Yeah.
With the other first-round pick in this 7-round mock, Graham Barton, offensive lineman out of Duke.
Okay.
You're 1 for 1 today. It's either Jeremy, Lauren, or Tyler. Care to go 2 for 2?
I'm going to keep it in-house and go Lauren.
I'm going to say Tyler.
Graham Barton, offensive tackle, Duke.
It is easy to love Barton with his strong grip strength and lateral quickness. During his 3 years at Duke, he started 39 games, 34 at left tackle and 5 at center. It's those 5 starts at center that's intriguing NFL teams. Barton does not have the usual length and power of an offensive lineman, but those weaknesses could be his strengths if he moves to play inside. With an improvement to his redirection skills and speed, he could be a Pro Bowl caliber guard in the NFL. NFL comp, Cody White here.
This 2024 NFL Draft Player Profile is brought to you by Bud Light.
Gambo rallies. I was
Yeah.
3-0 to start our little game. You're 3. It's 3-2 now.
I'll go home tonight. My wife will get, "Did you have a good day at work?" I'll be, "Yeah, I nailed 2 draft picks. I got the Mitch one right and the Lauren one right." She'll have no idea what I'm talking about, but I had a good day. That's a good day for me.
It's a good day.
Like nothing else matters. I got 2 draft picks corrected.
All right, let me do this real quick.
Speak right.
So, wide receiver Brian Thomas, an offensive lineman at 27, a defensive tackle Jerzon Newton from Illinois at 35, a defensive end Braylon Trice from Washington at 66, a corner in the 3rd round Max Melton from Rutgers, another wide receiver Jermaine Burton from Alabama.
Loading up
in the 3rd round. So 2 wide
corners.
receivers, a corner, a defensive end, a defensive tackle, and an offensive lineman. And then later, just one corner.
One corner.
Just
okay.
one corner.
One
That's it.
corner, 2 wide receivers, an offensive lineman, and some defensive help.
Yes, among the first 6 picks, that's the breakdown.
Okay.
In the 7-round.
We
mock.
should save this mock draft and just see if he gets any of them right.
That
would be so great.
I will type a note right now to save.
Save
There
that
we go.
one and let's go back. We just want to know if you got any of those picks right.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.